We got a countdown there. All right.
Yep.
So, welcome to the Walt Weekly. We're here with Briggette Stokes, and of course, I'm Walter Latham.
Yes.
Welcome to the Walt Weekly. Today, we got two very critical issues. I wouldn't say issues, things that are coming down the pipe that already is, a couple of them, and that is overpayment of Social Security and the demand for student loan repayments. Because Trump takes a different viewpoint on student loans than President Joe Biden did. Joe Biden was trying to get those student loans waived, but Trump, that's another thing with him. He's looking to collect. Again, that's always the low-hanging fruit that the Republicans go after. And those are usually anything that helps the working class, they're trying to crack. So let's get into the first topic that we want to talk about, and that is Social Security overpayments. Mm-hmm. Now, the government has just, they have, I guess under Doge, they are saying that there were a lot of people that got more money than they should. They never talk about the people that got less money than they should, but this is more money than they should. Mm-hmm. So these people will be getting letters. They're already in the mail, all right, saying that you were overpaid by, let's say, let's use an example. You know, I like to talk about examples. I like scenarios. So here I am. I've been receiving Social Security for 10 years. That's not true. I'm just using it as an example, okay? Don't get me twisted now that I'm on the program for 10 years. No. But anyway, I'm getting Social Security for the last 10 years, and they come to me and say, with a letter, you're going to get a letter if you are overpaid. And this letter's going to say, you owe us $100,000. So let's say you're getting overpaid by $100 a month. And for, sake of, getting this, done or calculating this, let's say I'm going to do it over. Let's say you get $100 a month. And that's your Social Security payment. I know it's much more than that, but I'm using this as an example, right? You get $100 a month, and it should be $90 a month, all right? So over 1 year, you get $10 more a month for 12 months. That's $120 times 10, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're doing that, then you're looking at a lot of money. I mean, where are these people? And a lot of people may have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 that they kind of come after you with and demand that you pay them back. Mm-hmm. All right, and they will take actions against you, such as garnish you, take your Social Security check. All right, all of it, or either half. You got to work it out, but do not ignore those letters that come at you because they're going to garnish you your check, put it on your credit report. They're going to do all those type of things. So you don't want that to happen. So I just want to alert our people that some of y'all may get that letter. All right, and don't ignore it. Okay, about what you got to say about that?
Well, listen, I'm one of the people that got the letter. You got the letter? Yeah, I got the letter. I'm one of the people letters. Well, to me it's big, but it's like it's gonna be lesser. So Social Security will be lesser.
So they'll be taking it off the top then.
They're gonna take it off the top. They're gonna take it off the top. So
my
payment, they're saying it's gonna be lower. So I'm like, are they serious? They really? Yeah. Because people are on, when you're retired, even though you might have something through your employee that you have over the years accumulated, or some type of retirement programs, but your Social Security to me is something that's your money. You pay that into the system.
That's right.
That's my money. And my thing is, if you're going to take this stuff, if you got a problem with Social Security, as they say, is the problem, and it's not the problem, well, and you want to shut Social Security down, you don't want folks to get Social Security, well, give me all my money back. Just give me one big check and give me my money back.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I want my money. I want my money. And so there are some people that can't afford to have that amount taken out of their check because they live on it day by day, month by month, penny by penny. So I'm not feeling this right now. I mean, I'm feeling it, but it's like, no, they didn't do that. They took that money out of my check. They really did. So when I get my first check in May, that's if we get one, I'm going to be missing some money.
What was the date? Do you remember the date on the letter that you got?
I got the letter recently. I got the letter. This is May. I got it at the end of, I want to say, right before April, the first month. What's that? March? Yeah, March.
Yeah.
I got it at the end of March.
Wow.
A letter that's telling me in advance.
Did it look official, the letter?
It was official. It looked letter. And here's the thing. I'm like, it seems like I got this letter before, but maybe I didn't. But that was the letter letting me know that they're going to cut me back.
Yeah, they always been having problems with it.
But it ain't a lot. It's a lot to me, and it might be a lot to somebody else. So they're talking about like $200 out of mine.
Do you mind if that's what I was going to ask you.
About $200 to $300 out of mine.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of money on a monthly basis.
That's what I'm talking about. So, people got to go in and readjust and find a little extra. Hey, that's a light bill. That's a water bill. That's groceries, period. That's groceries. Yeah, that's groceries.
That is your Medicare premium with Blue Cross or something like that.
Exactly.
Less than that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
That's all right. Hey.
Well,
but we are
going to be feeling it.
We are resilient people. We know how to make it work. Now, might have to eat a little bit more pinto beans and fix a little bit more homemade biscuits or bread, but we know how to make it work.
Some black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas.
Well,
but then I feel blessed because I do have my retirement from the system. Yeah. But think about the people that don't have it. That's all they have. That is all they have.
Well, I haven't received a letter so far, but you never know. I may receive one too.
I think they're gonna go for the people with the lower incomes, like the middle class.
I'm middle class, but hey, I'm between.
But I might not be on that level that you on.
Because I'm retired, so you know what that does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watching our nickels and pennies.
Yeah,
and
nickels and pennies and cutting back. Your grocery list got to be, you used to could go to the grocery store twice a month or whenever you feel like you need something. It's all new now. Can't do it.
Yeah,
and if you like me, and this is a shout out to my sister Dina.
Yeah, go ahead.
The two of us do. I'm gonna tell the secret, Dina, to the world. We like to go online and put everything in the groceries that in the basket that we like. Mm-hmm. And then when we get to see the price of it, we get to throwing stuff out. That's going to have to wait. So.
You're not one of those people that get up on the line.
Yeah.
And then you start, and later said, okay, this is this. Then you say, okay, I got to take this out.
Yep, that's
take
me.
This out.
That's me. Well, this can wait. I don't have to get that now. Yep, that's me.
My goodness, I can't. You should just check in everything that you think you can pay for, and then put the rest on the side. And then if you got some extra cash, then you just take a couple items. I think that's the way to do that.
Yeah, but I usually most of the time I do because I have a busy schedule. I Instacart a lot, Right. And with the Instacart, the prices have definitely gone up, and plus you got to pay them for shopping for you, and then you got to pay them. But when I do it online and decide, okay, this is things I need, I just go on in there, put everything that my heart desires. And when it showed me the total, I had to bring it down, keep dumping out,
taking it out from
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well,
so that's where we at now.
Yeah, my wife does the food shopping. I do a little only for the extra stuff that we need in between shopping times. But yeah, she's telling me, it's rough out there.
It's rough. So imagine, I know we want to stay focused to our topic, but imagine,
go ahead.
But imagine people that don't have another income or don't have another resource or retirement money or just only have their disability checks, or their Social Security check. That's all they have. And some are not even eligible for food stamps services or things like that. So, especially senior citizens,
Yeah. I mean, even this guy, Howard Lutnick, I did a podcast with Ernest where we talked about how Howard Lutnick is in a different world. He's an alien or something. I don't know what he is, but he said, this came out of his mouth. I'm going to paraphrase it. But basically what he said is, my mother-in-law, who's 92, 94, if she misses a Social Security check this month, she's not going to be calling and all this, calling Social Security and say, where's my check? She knows that, things happen, so she'll wait until next month's check. Now, how many people that we know that own Social Security that can do that?
No.
That can miss a check and wait till the next month?
None. I don't know nobody. And you know what? When he made that statement, I said, and you can afford to give her what she needs. How about that? You're in a position to
He's
make
a
sure your
billionaire.
mother, that's right. You're a millionaire, so you're in a position to make sure your mother-in-law has everything that
He's a
she needs.
billionaire.
A billionaire. So she could have everything that she needs. That's a statement I think should have never came out of his mouth. Personally, because that's your mother-in-law and that's part of your family and you're a billionaire. So
Right.
why would she have that problem of saying those things or worrying about whether or not she's going to get her check this month or not? Why not would she when she have a billionaire son-in-law? That makes no sense. Even though the people say, well, that's his money. No, but that's his family. When you marry, you marry into a family.
That's absolutely right. Okay,
So,
for him to say that,
yeah.
and then he goes on to say that if anybody misses their check and they start calling, those are the criminals.
Yeah.
Those are now we are criminals. So if I miss my check, I am going to call. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's direct deposit. It doesn't hit my account. I'm going to be thinking, oh, I got hacked. You know, somebody got in there and interfered with the transfer of funds, even though it's direct deposit. Somewhere or another, they might hack my account. I got to investigate. I'm not going to wait 1 month. All right. And these people can disappear in 1 month. All they need is a little time, but boom, they're gone. They're here now and they're gone later.
And they're gone later.
That's so stupid.
I know.
It's the stupidest thing anybody can say, but they're privileged. These are your privileged people. They can't empathize with us because they've never been there.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, come on. Another thing too, but before we leave Social Security, go to student loans, is that, with these, what do you call them, the COLAs? The cost of living increases,
Yeah.
cost of living adjustments that we get
Yes.
every year. We don't match inflation with those. They give us like 1%.
1%. And that's not matching inflation, period.
No, they never do.
And that's from not only the federal, your local jobs or your local retirement. They don't match that. They might every now and then throw in a bonus. And the bonus is just enough to pay half of your groceries. So, hey, I'm calling it out.
Well, I got a film that I want y'all guys to look at about these not these overpayments, but the overpayments of Social Security. And I was thinking about student loans for a moment there, that which we're going to get to in just a moment. And I think I want to show a film, just a clip.
As progressive protests persist in Chicago and across the country against cuts in federally funded programs,
people are at a point where they are scared to death.
Another voice on Chicago's West Side brought focus to two specific programs, Medicaid and Social Security.
We are saying to President Trump and all the Trumpeteers, hands off Social Security. Leave our Social Security alone.
About what's going on with these Social Security overpayments. All right? But that's very bad. 20 years, you're getting a check. Let's say you got $100 more a month. That's $1,200 times 10. That's $12,000. Where you going to get that money? How are you going to pay it off?
You can't.
And they don't play. They come after your house. They garnish your check.
Garnish your checks. They don't care.
Also, your credit report. They can go put it there. I don't know about, but that's the world we live in now.
That's where we at.
Changing. All right. And outstanding delinquent student loans. I know I've had student loans.
Yes, I did. And I was blessed to pay mine off the senior year. I finished it up. I worked quite a bit during my 4 years of college. So when I graduated, I worked during the summer. I worked year round. I worked after classes. And I knew that my mama couldn't afford to pay for my loans and pay my way through. Now, did I get grants? Yes, I did. Did I do work study and other jobs? I worked quite a bit. I even worked in the cafeteria at the college because they were high students part-times. And then I would leave there and sometimes go to the mall and work to some of the stores there to pay my way through school. So my senior year when I graduated, I didn't owe anything. Matter of fact, they gave me, I overpaid a little bit. I got a little $300 check back. But I was proud of that because I didn't owe anything. Goodness. I didn't owe nothing when I graduated. Nothing, not a penny.
Well, I tell you.
And I worked. But my sister and, other family members have been caught, those years they did have to pay back those student loans. And it was hard.
And are they still paying back,
Well, they paid them in full.
Oh, they already paid them off? So you guys are the fortunate ones. Yeah, because what they're saying is, and this is as of May 5th, y'all guys double check me, please, that these delinquent loans, student loans, that Joe Biden was trying to forgive with the SAVE program, SAVE
Mm-hmm.
program. Trump didn't like it, he's not, and now they want their money, okay? And if you don't start paying, all right, your check is gonna be garnished, your credit report is gonna be, you can't escape a student loan. You can't say I'm gonna go bankrupt and not pay. You gotta pay it. They're gonna get their money, even if at your funeral. You know what I mean? That's how bad they are with student loans. And so I just want to alert everybody that if you're delinquent,
yes,
go and reach out to them. Reach out to the Department of Education. That's why I wanted you I wanted your expertise on this, because you are an educator. I mean, these students, I know when I went to college, I got student loans. Then when my kids went to college, I rolled their student loans into mine. And fortunately, I was able to deal with, that money, because that was for my kids. So that's what I did.
Right.
If I tell my kids I had to pay your student loans, they tell me, that's what you're supposed to do. You're my dad. You know what I mean? So I was fortunate enough to be able, but a lot of people, they got hundreds of thousands of dollars, or, at least 50. I said, $50,000 is a lot of money.
I think I got one niece that's still quite owe on her bill, but she's paying on it. But
she's not delinquent, right?
She's not delinquent. No, she's not delinquent. No.
Okay. Because I know some people have not paid their student loans. I know in 2023, all right, when Joe Biden tried to use the SAVE program, which deferred a lot of loans because everybody's waiting for Congress to pass it, is that between 2023 and now, when you get ready to start your repayment, that interest accumulated from 2023 to now. That's on top of what you owe. The interest continues.
It continues. You never can catch up. To me,
you can't.
You can't catch up because of
and
the
thing
interest
is, this is going to impact a lot of people, because with student loans, the majority of student loan borrowers, on a percentage basis, are low income.
That's right.
Low income people are the ones that get student loans. So they can't afford college any other way.
That's right. And then you got some mega, and I'm going to call it out, mega folks that get student loans too, and have had student loans. They all do it. Yeah. I don't understand them being so supportive of a person that wants to cost them more trouble with their loans and taking if they think they are exempted from being taking money from their account or their house being taken from them or whatever. They're not. Just because they're voting for their president doesn't mean that they ain't going to get their money if they owe them some money.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them got buyer's regret now.
And that's true. That is so true.
Yeah, they got buyer's regret because, to me, but first of all, let me just say to people that got student loans, do not mess around. All right? Work something out.
Yeah, work something out.
If you've been delinquent, you just go there. You got to beg a little bit. Or the Temptations used to sing, I ain't too proud to beg.
I ain't too proud to beg.
I ain't too proud to beg. But anyway, I would, if I'm on student loan and they coming after me like that, I got to work something out. You know what I mean?
Well, give them something. Say, look, this is what I can give you.
Yeah,
just
they may not take that. They may say that's
and they may not. They may not. They may not.
Because they have the last word on that.
Right.
So, the thing is that there's so many black people with student loans.
Yeah.
And minorities.
And
but
minorities.
We're at the top. When it comes to student loans, we're at the top in terms of outstanding and delinquent loans. Okay? So that's a direct. Can you imagine if you have a student loan and you waiting for, you got Joe Biden. He's going to push through the SAVE program to give all these student loans. So you go ahead and, buy a house. And then they come at you with this demand for payment and accrued interest. Wow, man, can you imagine?
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I feel for them. I'm feeling for them. I'm glad that I'm clear, because I don't know if I can handle that too. But it's just, I was like, what is the purpose of all this? Why you want to just take away from the people? They're trying to do better, and the students' loans were forgiven, but you want to go back and reverse all of that. What are you getting from it? You just collect more money,
Well, I think that, and it appears to me that it's not such a black and white issue. A lot of these things that Trump
might be greed.
It could be greed, because he messed with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His people mess with everybody.
Everybody.
I think they're colorblind to messing with folks. You know what I mean?
But his followers think it's okay. Well, we need him. Well,
Until
I
they get
think
that
you're doing a
Medicaid,
good
they're missing
job.
that Medicaid check. Then they're going, then that grass going to drop. So
No,
you know they want to cut Medicaid.
that Medicaid and that housing situation, those people on Section 8s and all that funding.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say he gave them 2 years, he said, I'm giving you 2 years. That's it. Y'all out. I don't care. So, and there's more of them in housing and on these programs than it is of us.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
typical stereotype is just the black folks on it or the
That's what they
minorities on
think.
it.
Right.
But no, it ain't like.
Well, that's what's so surprising me, that these people are so disillusioned, right? Is that this Medicaid cut is coming up, and they're talking about that, and the people from like West Virginia, Appalachia, West Virginia, what is it? West Virginia, Kentucky, all up in those mountains where those poor white folks are. They're the ones that are going to be suffering more. So he's going to hurt the base. They voted for him.
Yes.
And they're going to cut Medicaid. That means they won't get any money.
Won't get anything. And look at the food programs. It's not just our children in Head Start. It's not just our children that get free lunches, and all of that's going to benefit them, especially that area. It's going to hurt them mighty bad.
Well, I'll tell you. If they can, there's so many things going on, right? So the overpayment of Social Security is just the surface of all these things this guy's doing. Because one reason I do want to talk a little bit about the charter school program. Okay, where they're going to give, people a $10,000 voucher for charter schools every year. What do you think about that? Because you're an educator, you're a retired educator, so you know education and you know about funding and stuff. So what do you think about the charter schools and the $10,000 voucher?
Well, first of all, let me say that, I'm not against charter schools, right? And I do like public schools. There are some public school system that works, it's just some that are struggling. But there are some are effective. I do know that, every student is allowed so much money. I don't have the statistics of exactly the amount, but they're allowed so much money and the money travels with them. So if they go to this school or this county, that money goes with them. When they goes to charter school, that money goes to them. I've had a niece. I had my niece, my sister, Dina's daughter was in a very good charter school. KIPP, I think it's in Roanoke Rapids area. Excellent school. But I do have, the only thing that I can say that I've always found issue with is that how, like you were saying, this $10,000 going with these students. Charter schools are mainly funded, and I think I'm correct, are mainly funded by the government. I believe it's the government. The county may kick in some, but most of it is some from private donors. The donors are private donors.
Right.
And the state schools are funded by our local state, and they're funded by the federal government, whatever they pour in, that small portion that they put in. And so, as I understand, it's all the state schools. We're always struggling because we have a larger number of students. We have, we have to work with our curriculum. The systems have this and that. And the state schools tends to have a more diverse group of children, a diverse thing. When I say diverse,
public schools,
when I'm saying that's right, public schools. When I say state school, public schools. So public schools have where they're going to offer more to your special need children. They offer more as opposed to these charter schools or private schools, But they are both can be good, depends on who's running it, and as long as it's an equal or a balanced playing field. There's nothing wrong with charter school because they can be very well. They are very on a small level. With your students. The students can get more one-on-one, as in the public school, you have larger classrooms. That student may not get a one-on-one teaching, as opposed as charter schools and smaller classrooms, if you go charter or private. But that's the basic difference. The curriculum, charter schools makes their own curriculum, and we have public school has a board, an educational board that makes our curriculum,
Yeah.
So, and as far as the money being given out like that, as long as it's a equal playing field, I don't have a problem with that. But taking away from the public school and giving more to the charter schools or the private schools, I'm not in for that because I believe that all children can't go to charter schools, because you may not have a charter school or a private school in that community. And some is not going to take you. See, charter schools can take who they want to take. They ain't got to take our children if they don't want to take it.
Oh, yeah, they got
private
this
schools don't have to.
enrollment process. Yeah,
right. They got an enrollment process. So if my child want to go to this charter school over here, it's a good school, but if they don't like the way my child's passed from the public schools records or whatever, they don't have to take them. So I'm just saying that long as I've always said it's an equal playing field. That's what concerns me. Will it be an equal playing field?
What do you think about the decommissioning of the Department of Education?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Why is that?
I think it's because, to me, I see it as more of a way of going back to the old years, the 60s. It's throwing us back, to me. I've been in the public school. I was there 32 years. It wasn't all bad. It's, the public school. Now, I will admit that they do, and I haven't been there in a while, so I'm not saying that the public school is not getting better, because I believe they will. And they got to find the right curriculum for our children. You know, some people might say, well, if it's not working, then we need to follow the pattern of a charter school. Just like KIPP was an excellent school. I loved it when my niece was going there.
Okay.
The curriculum was fine, and maybe I feel like, you know, the public school are sending their teachers to workshops and following different curriculums to make sure that maybe this will work for our school, or this will work for our county, or, you know, whatever county that you are in. Like Wake County have theirs, and Martin County has their, you know, curriculum. But overall, the state has a particular
The state controls all of that.
Right. Overall, they controls all of them, and they have a certain guideline that we have to go by. They have to go by. So that's my problem.
Anything that's racially, racial history, black history and stuff like that, they got rid of. They want to get.
They got rid of that, right? And so my problem with that is they're going back. You know, we're gonna take out all this racial stuff, and our children, and that is the beauty. I guess I can say, if we could find the right charter school or the right private school, that is the beauty of having that. You can have the curriculum that you want. You know, but in the public school might be a little different because it is funded by federal funding. But it's a small portion. It's not a large portion of it, because really the taxpayers paying for everything. They're paying for all of it. Paying for the private schools, the charter schools, and they're paying for the public school. But in the charter school, the parents do have to pay a certain amount. That's the fact.
Now, I'd like to also mention that due to charter schools, and I don't know if it's a direct correlation, but the New York City schools are the most segregated in the country. I was shocked to hear that.
Yeah, I think I touched up on that. And in a sense, I've heard a lot of people say, and I think maybe you and I have touched on this issue before, would we be willing to go back to segregation? Would we be willing to go back to bringing our children back to the community?
Ms. Stokes, you know my feelings on that.
I know your feelings on that. And I will say this much. Let me just throw this out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's nothing wrong with us bringing our children back to our community. I would love it. I would love to have our children back in their own communities, as long as an equal playing field, as long as you give them the same material. Right. And the same funding that you're going to give those in their community, the white communities or whatever community you want to say, as long as it's equal. If you're going to give me the same amount, because I always say that was the problem during segregation. We have to understand the problem was that our children was we still playing catch up. Hey, we're still academically playing catch up from where we started years and years ago, because they were years ahead of us educationally. So when they threw us out there, when we went back, came out of segregation, they desegregated, look at how they treated us. We were well educated, but but they still were way ahead of us educationally. But we had to fight to get our way through.
I have to maybe contradict you a little bit there, but because I went to E.J. Hayes, which is a black school during the 60s, right? Mm-hmm. And I was prepared when I left North Carolina to come to New York and work in the corporations and things of that nature and get into the colleges up here. Because I transferred my grades from Elizabeth City State. I was competitive. It never even crossed my mind that
I know, but I'm going to say this about you. You always been a genius anyway. You're one of them. I'm gonna put it this way: there are some people gonna catch on to it because of their higher level of thinking and process of thinking. Okay, but some of us, it's the way how it's processed in learning. You know, that's when it comes into the learning system. I'm not saying that the black schools didn't prepare us. They did a heck of a job preparing us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am now today, weren't for E.J. Hayes schools and those black teachers that cared about me. You know what I'm saying? And then they messed it up when they start bringing in them other teachers to desegregate the schools. They didn't care about whether we got it or not, because half of them was scared because they thought maybe them children going to jump on.
They've been jumping on, you know, because
they were scared of them black kids.
We have nothing in common with them. They come from
nothing.
A lot of them come from areas, or they were raised. They never seen black kids.
They never seen black kids.
And no more on television.
Right, and no more on television. And I'm just saying, you know, we had to struggle to get to that part. You know, I think about it. Books was behind. You remember that book, Jane Rent, and Pick Up? You remember that kind of little books?
Yeah.
Those was the old reading books. They were years old, whereas the white schools had already, those books weren't even, they was in use. They were out of dated books.
They were at chapter 20
they were shipping over.
We got chapter 1.
Right. They were shipping new materials, shipping us expired material and updated material the white schools was getting. So that's the perspective that I'm talking about, the equal playing field. Just make sure, bring my kids back. I know what to do with my children in my community. I know their emotions. I know how they feel. I know how to talk to their parents. Okay? I know how to reach out to my own people. So I don't have a problem as long as it's an equal playing field. Give me the same funding, the same education material that you're going to give that other school.
Yeah, and people think the Chinese smart because they have access to education.
They have access to it.
Parents drill that into them.
You know, because
and the government follows through to ensure that those kids are educated.
That's right.
They would fund kids coming over here. They pay for it.
And we nurtured our children in those black communities back then. If a child came in the room with a runny nose, hair ain't been combed, teacher take you to the back of the school, you know, the cloakroom.
Right, in the cloakroom.
Comb your hair, even had your little thing that you can wash your face so that we could build their confidence up. They don't do that now. You might have a handful that do that, and then you got some teachers that's going to talk about it. But that mama don't need to be sending that child like that. But those real caring, devoted teachers, they're going to come. They're not going to call Social Security on that mama. I mean, not Social Security, but social welfare on that mama. They're going to go in there and say, come here, baby. Here's a cloth. You wash your face. You take these books home. But can you let this child stay after school so I can work a little bit with them? They don't do that today. So I'm saying that if our children come back to our neighborhood, I'm not against that at all, because we know how to take care of our children. We know how to build their nurturing, build their confidence, and make sure they get what they learn. Because I remember them teachers. Now, I don't know, we can do it now because they got that rule back. When the teachers back in the day, you didn't spell that word right. Hold your hands back.
Oh, yeah, corporal punishment. Yeah, we don't have that, but maybe we can reincorporate that into
I think that's a law that's been recently being reincorporated by their president. I ain't there yet to say president of the United States, because you got to me personally, act like one, then I'm going to call you one. Call you mine. I'm just saying all I'm saying.
I got you. I'm just saying. But I mean, before we go, I do want to mention this story, because I think I was in a very good position to contrast the white school against the black school. When I was in the 8th grade, and this was before total integration in North Carolina, in Williamson, my mother signed me. They had what they call a freedom of choice, meaning you could choose the black school or you could choose the white school. They did it for 1 year. I went to my mom signed me up with a white school for that year. So going to Williamson High School, which was a white school, I noticed right away, the cafeteria was better, the rooms were better, they had AC, they had football equipment. I played Little League football at Williamson High School.
What?
Okay, they didn't have that at E.J. Hayes. I mean, that was the first time I had a physical exam for athletics. With athletics, they make you cough, make you turn around and do all this. That was the first time. They did not have that at E.J. Hayes. They didn't have it. So that goes to show you that the funding for Williamson High School versus E.J. Hayes, the black school, is a big difference. They had it. They had so much stuff. The band room, the band equipment, because I just started playing trumpet then. I was playing trumpet. and I mentioned the cafeteria and their curriculum. Much better. The books and everything it's just an awesome place.
Mhm.
But I couldn't take it because I missed my folks. So the following year, when I got to ninth grade, I went back to EJA. I went to EJA's high.
Mhm.
All right. So I didn't like it. There was no school spirit. I don't know. I really feel sorry for the black students that are going to school down there now because they did miss that cultural thing
The
that
culture.
we had.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The whole town was behind our football team.
The whole town.
Then we had May Day. We had all these different
Mayday.
things.
And you know what? The community helped those black schools. Even though the state during that time wasn't giving monies to these schools, the black community, the parents, the PTAs, the store owners, they were pouring money in to help those schools. They were doing fundraisers and different things. And it was PTA really, but still the community came together and did the best that they know how to make sure that their children could have the same material, at least some of it. They were pouring money into those black schools back then. I know they did E.J. Hayes with PTA, and that's why we had so many little different things going on during that time. You know, May Day, and you remember May Day? They had all those vendors out there.
Oh, yeah, May Day. We had the costumes and
yes,
the parade and all that kind of stuff.
I think my teacher was Miss Winsby. I was Miss May Queen in first grade with Miss Manson. And then when I went to Miss Risby in second grade, we had to do a dance, and it was Heard It Through the Grapevine. I'll never forget. And she had us dressed in some purple paper tissue outfits that she made.
Yeah.
And we were dancing to Gladys Knight, Heard It Through the Grapevine. So those was the times. That was what you call community.
Exactly.
Input, because I know we got to go, but I do want to say this to these parents out there as an educator. Parents, you have to get involved with your children's education. You have to go to these schools. You need to go to these PTA meetings and these board meetings to see what's going on. Your voice can still be heard if you just show up. It can be heard. You got to do it. Because our parents did it. And even during segregation, they did it. They were there.
All right, Miss Stokes. You got the final word on it. All right. I just wanted to let people know that y'all guys got to, try to follow, share, comment. I'm not seeing a lot of comments because I guess y'all guys just agree with everything that we say. So anyway, hey, look, the Walt Weekly, we're on all major streaming platforms, and we have our own YouTube channel. And that is really ramping up now. So
Yes.
I encourage everybody, this will be on YouTube. So I encourage everybody to, connect with us on YouTube at the Walt Weekly Podcast.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And y'all guys, look, we need membership on our Facebook page. We want y'all guys to join that. Look at, our website, our generator newsletter, talking about the things that we've been doing.
Yes.
So
nice.
check us out. And Miss Stokes, we'll see you the next time.
Yes.
This was great. Good seeing you.
I hope so. It's good seeing
You're a
everybody.
host anyway, so I'm going to be seeing you a lot. And don't forget, people, this is going to be the host of the Church Ladies.
The Church Ladies, yes.
All right, coming up soon.
Yes.
All right, take
we
care.
love you.
Next week. All right, then. Bye-bye. Ciao. Don't hang